This poem is, we too are Salt Lake City. Nah, forget that. This ain't the ancient promised land of your so-called Nefitas y Lamanitas. We never stop being Aslan, never stop being Mexica. We are the Maiz of the Ute and the Shoshone, the macaw feathers flied in your tie-clip Moroni, the cacao that crossed deserts before your borders. Word up, Salt Lake City? Nah, this Lago Tehuayo, Holmes. We got a Tia who survived U.S.-funded death squads named West Valley City, and a Theo grilling the best carne ranchera you've ever seen, called Rose Park. We are the broomstick a Danette boy beat against a mattress before his family could afford a drum, because we're over 1 million acres of the Navajo Nation. We are brown berets.
Slam poetry is competitive poetry that encourages call and response. It started in the 1980s in Chicago by a construction worker named Mark Smith in a bar. So literally the competition is just a gimmick to attract people so that it's America, once you make things a competition, people are invested. But one of the reasons it becomes such a national phenomena and like such a hit among certain communities is that communities of color, Native community, folks who are already doing beat poetry to Nuyorican, hip hop, all could be channeled into slam. The only real rules is like, hey, 3 minutes, no costumes, no props. You can go up there and interpretive dance and they can't stop you. And a lot of communities of color especially already had the tools to just destroy a poem in 3 minutes. So it enabled a lot of folks to have a platform.
Ancestors at Yosepa, we're the lifeblood of the city. Without us, your grid system would be gridlocked. Without us, your slam teams would never win the pot. You tried to call us immigrants, but before you mispronounced my name, I was already sand. When Brigham Young said this is the place, we were already here.
Our purpose as a division, as Arts and Culture, is really to support and uplift all of our artistic communities in the county. We've identified one area that we wanted to work more in, which was working more with individual artists to be able to provide them with some amazing experiences in our venues, and also to be able to invite community members in who maybe haven't been to the theater before. So Speaks, we were able to bring in some of the most amazing slam poets that we have here in Salt Lake County, give them the chance to perform in Eccles in the amazing Grand Lobby, which is so gorgeous, and then also to allow pretty much any community member to come and enjoy that for free, a really beautiful, high-quality experience that they can then remember, and then hopefully they'll come back and continue to enjoy the arts after that.
The Salt Lake Speaks event, this is the 3rd year that we've done it. It's just been my job to like reach out to amazing, talented poets in our community and make sure they're set up for the night and just kind of have a great community event. The process for selecting poets is just mainly kind of what I decide, which is like kind of a fun way to look at it, just because I think that the Eccles Theater really put it in my hands like, okay, this is what we know about slam poetry. We want people from the community helping to organize this community event. So throughout the year I see amazing, poets at different competitions, at different ciphers, little community things, and then from there I just kind of see who would be a really good fit for, our celebration of that every year. So
what's most important is that people are going up there and sharing their stories. And like Salt Lake Speaks is opportunity for a lot of the folks in the community to have an audience to share their favorite poems and like forget about the scores, forget about all of that. It's just to share with one another like our favorite work with each other. So it creates this special space where we just get to be whole and human with one another.
I have a poem for each different kind of Pokemon trainer, including the gym leaders and the Elite Four. And this is what everybody says is their favorite one in the book. And this is the poem for Sabrina, canonically the strongest human in the Pokemon universe. Sabrina. So I bent some spoons and everyone said I was a witch. So naturally, I bent their necks because I am a witch. They spit their Bible at me and I make their Bible spit back at them. They pry open the door to my house.
It's really cool to like be here with our poems, which are the simplest form of theater. The simplest form of performing art is just spoken word, just a person sharing their emotional truths. So what it means for the community, having it be here, having it be free to attend, that's a huge thing. Having it be accessible from the street gives people the chance to find and connect with their community and forge an emotional connection with the people around them. I know things seem like people are getting crueler, especially on the internet, but the emotional vulnerability shared by poets at open mic nights, slams, and events like this are the way that we fight that and resist that.
I hear they are burning little girls for being too pretty or too ugly or too everything to be anything but magic, but I can see the future. I can see the world they make by destroying all the magic they can or cannot find. It is a world of tax returns and report cards and stock market crashes. Oh, how their children will beg for magic. Oh, how they will grow up and attempt to build magic from lightning. Oh, how they will fail and burn the world down as they try to escape, and they will deserve every ounce of misery they have burned themselves into.
For me as an artist, it gives us a platform to perform our work outside of spaces that are not generally known for slam. Slam is in itself an art form that means so many different things to so many different people, and so it gives us a wider breadth and allows us to reach a lot more individuals that otherwise wouldn't hear our work. And to that, it's really important to me to have that connection with our audience. I think that's what makes slam so powerful, is the ability to resonate with whoever's speaking. And so to give us that platform to shout on the streets of Salt Lake City, hey, these are my words, this is my art, and have the passersby come and hear us, it provides a really unique connection.
Pigs have no real appreciation for the sky, but they do have a vague concept of it. See, the body of a domesticated pig cannot bend enough to allow them to look up directly at the sky. Years of breeding, a forced genetic mutation in the name of a perfect harvest, their bodies have succumbed to the weight of consumption. Accommodated the fat and muscle in their necks and spine through fusion, now their mobility is limited to a 45-degree angle. When I was 6, I was told that my body eventually would start to contract for the compensation of loss and muscle of fat, that eventually my neck and my back would fuse, that my movement too would be limited to a 45-degree angle.
I think with any piece that I do, I want people to leave thinking about the piece. I want it to be sticky, right? So the way that I kind of think of it is there are feelings and then there are emotions. So feelings are things that you can very aptly and easily name. So you've got like anger or sadness, whatever. Feelings are that sticky in-between toddler mesh in there that you can't quite name, but that stays with you. And so that's my mission with my poems, is to have people really have the poems sit with them for a minute and be sticky and allow them to kind of parse through what feelings were invoked by the pieces.
Como un coche, we had bodies made for slaughter. Pink flesh characterized by body scoring charts, methodical weigh-ins and density tests how beautifully marbled our muscle is when we are cut into. The surgeon told me once that the cut he made along my spine was his finest work, that I was a babe worthy of a blue ribbon. To say that a pig cannot see the sky, however, is incorrect. The same way it is to say that a body is meant to bleed so tenderly. See, we still persist despite our damned destiny. We have evolved, prioritized survival over comfort, life over the ability to look straight up, because if I want to be humbled and inspired and awestruck, I do not need to look at heaven, but rather at my own reflection. A rippling, resistant resilience stares back, rivals all above me, and I know this because when I lie on my back, the same way that a pig does, humble and against the dirt, I can see the endless above me without effort, and for a moment, when our eyes meet, we both see an upside down and sunset reminder of what an unrestricted and capable body could look like.
My advice for someone who's starting to get into the spoken word scene or slam poetry is sort of just like explore, feelings that resonate with you. I think it always starts with sitting down with yourself and writing for a little bit and thinking, like, what really makes me feel something, like a big feeling, like anger, sadness, like love, things like that. And once you start writing and figuring out like what you want to say, then I think finding a community is very important.
Talent is a myth. Talent is a costume that privilege wears. Anybody can be good at anything if you have the passion for it and they have the time and opportunity to practice it. A lot of people might see these poets on stage like, oh wow, these people are really talented. It's not true. They're all as talented as you are. They have just practiced their bravery. And that's what it comes down to. It's not about being the best wordsmith. It's about being the bravest, showing your vulnerability, having the courage to speak about the things you are the most passionate about.
My biggest advice would be to find some homies, to not be afraid to connect to people, especially if there's a poet that you see perform that just moves you, to be like, hey, let's hang out sometime. The most important thing you can do as a writer is build a community among yourself of people that you trust, the people who are going to be honest to you, with you, as well as people who can truly hold your truths. Slam poetry is competitive poetry where people are reducing art to numbers, where audience members who are judging are sometimes just completely random people who, aren't experts and also don't know where we come from sometimes. So the most important thing, especially if you're an artist from a marginalized background, person of color, queer, disabled, is finding your tribe and making sure that y'all are able to hold true to the reason why you're doing it, right? One of the most important things is to make sure you're being selfish with your writing and that you're doing it for your goals and your reasons and not compromising that while challenging yourself to be better, right? So finding your crew of people that's gonna help you do that, even if you have to create your own space, I think is the most important thing.